Did the US just make a massive mistake? Canada's unexpected counterstrike could change everything. On a quiet morning, as the stock markets flicker to life and politicians go through their routine handshakes, a seismic shift is happening. One that the United States never saw coming. It's not an explosion, not a dramatic headline splashed across newspapers, but something far more calculated. A move so strategic that it doesn't just disrupt trade agreements, it shakes economies to their core. This isn't just about tariffs or taxes. This is about control, power plays, billion-dollar industries colliding with political egos on the world stage. For decades, the US has operated as if it calls all the shots in North American trade, expecting compliance from its neighbors. But this time, Canada has flipped the script on what's coming next. It's not just a dispute, it's an all-out trade war, and it's about to get brutal. The spark that ignited the fire, it all started with an unexpected blow from Washington. A sudden 25% tariff on Canadian goods. No warning, no negotiations, just a decision dressed up as a national security measure. The US government justified the move by citing concerns about trade imbalances and the need to protect American jobs. The usual script. The same rhetoric that has been used time and time again to justify economic aggression. But make no mistake, this isn't about security, it's about leverage, and more importantly, it's about control. Tariffs aren't just numbers on paper. They are economic weapons, silent but devastating. They don't make a sound when they land, but their impact ripples through entire industries. $300 billion worth of goods cross the US-Canada border every year, from cars and steel to aluminum, and even basic groceries. A 25% tariff isn't just a policy. It's a gut punch to Canada's economy, hitting industries that provide thousands of jobs and keep communities afloat. For Canada, this wasn't just a financial setback. It was personal. Canada's unexpected counterattack. The US might have expected Canada to negotiate, maybe even plead for relief. Instead, while Washington was patting itself on the back for taking a tough stance, Canada was planning its counterattack. And this retaliation wouldn't be emotional or reactionary. It would be precise, strategic, and devastating. Rather than slapping tariffs on random American goods, Canada aimed for pressure points. Products that would hit the US where it hurt the most. American bourbon, tariffed. Straight out of Kentucky, Mitch McConnell's backyard. Florida orange juice, tariffed. A direct hit on a crucial election battleground. Electric vehicles, especially Tesla, tariffed. A targeted attack on one of America's biggest tech. Darlings, these weren't just random choices. Each product was selected for maximum political and economic impact. Bourbon tariffs would create waves in Republican strongholds. Orange juice tariffs would infuriate farmers and voters in swing states. And Tesla? That wasn't just about Elon Musk. It was about shaking America's confidence in its own tech supremacy. Tesla takes the biggest hit of all the industries affected. Tesla's struggle might be the most significant. And here's why. Tesla and other electric vehicle manufacturers rely on materials that Canada controls. Nickel, lithium, aluminum. Now, these aren't just resources. They are the lifeblood of the EV industry. And now Canada holds the faucet. The ripple effect is immediate. A higher cost for Tesla and other EV manufacturers. More expensive cars for consumers. Investor panic leading to stock price drops. Supply chain disruptions causing slowdowns in production. Tesla is more than just a company. It's a symbol of American innovation, a beacon of the country's technological leadership. And if Tesla can bleed, then no American corporation is safe. The entire North American auto industry feels the shockwaves. Tesla is just the tip of the iceberg. The entire North American auto industry is in the blast zone. Most people don't realize that a single car part might cross the US-Canada border 8 times before a vehicle is finished. Factories in Detroit, Ontario, and Mexico don't compete. They cooperate. They are part of a delicate, deeply interconnected supply chain. When the US slapped tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, they thought it would protect American jobs. Instead, the consequences were the opposite. Car parts became more expensive. Factories slowed down production. American workers were laid off. Canada knew this would happen. They knew the supply chain was fragile and that by retaliating, they wouldn't just be hurting U.S. corporations. They'd be throwing a wrench into the entire economic machine. And yet Washington didn't see it coming. The political fallout, an economic war becomes a political disaster. This isn't just about trade agreements and business contracts. It's about people. Small towns in Ohio, Michigan, and Alberta rely on these industries. Picture a factory town where one company employs most of the residents. Suddenly, that company is dealing with higher costs because of tariffs. What happens next? Layoffs begin. Families struggle to pay rent. Local businesses lose customers. The entire community suffers. And here's the gut punch. The people feeling this pain the most had nothing to do with starting this trade war. But they're the ones paying the price. While politicians continue making speeches, these workers are the ones losing their paychecks. And when people lose jobs, they don't just blame foreign governments, they blame their own leaders. In Canada, Justin Trudeau framed the retaliation as an act of national pride. In the US, the narrative is much messier. Some politicians double down, insisting that short-term pain will lead to long-term gain. Others start scrambling, realizing that short-term pain means angry voters. And angry voters? They show up to town halls, they demand answers, and most importantly, they vote. Canada's hidden trump card. Energy. While all eyes are on the auto industry, Canada is quietly sitting on a nuclear option. Energy. The US relies heavily on Canada for oil, gas, and electricity. If Canada wanted to, they could turn off the tap. Imagine the consequences. Gas prices doubling overnight. Power shortages in northern US states during winter. Inflation skyrocketing. Even further, Canada hasn't played this card yet, but the mere possibility of it is enough to keep US officials awake at night. Because energy isn't just about money, it's about survival. The slow collapse of supply chains, it didn't happen all at once. It started small. A delayed shipment here, a missing order there. At first, businesses thought it was just bad luck, an isolated issue. But then it kept happening. Parts that used to arrive in 2 days now take 2 weeks, or don't arrive at all. Factories pause production over missing $5 components. Grocery stores see empty shelves where basic products used to be. The US thought they were putting pressure on Canada, but in reality, they pulled the first thread. Now the whole system is unraveling. The real cost, a crisis for everyday people. First, the impact seems minor. Maybe your favorite cereal costs a little more, or your grocery bill feels slightly higher. But then it snowballs. Food prices rise. Gas gets more expensive. Utilities cost more. And here's the worst part. Wages aren't rising to match. People start making trade-offs, skipping vacations, delaying car repairs, buying less. This isn't just an economic debate anymore. It's real life. And for millions of people, it's getting harder every day. The US wanted a trade war. Canada just showed them how dangerous that can be. While US officials scramble, Canada is forging new alliances, strengthening trade, ties with Europe, Asia, and other global markets. While Washington thought they were playing hardball, Canada was preparing for the long game. Because here's the thing, you don't need to win every battle to win the war. You just need to outlast your opponent. And right now, Canada is proving that they can do just that.